what I wanted to talk about today and hear from you is the idea of happy, happy dead. I've got a wonderful life. I'm really, really happy, and I'm learning to be that more often every single day. And having just seen my mom transition this year at 99, has brought it sort of full force that I'm in my last few years. And I'm not sure, anyway, I don't know what's going to make. I wanted this to be intentionally happy, happy dead.
The reason that we talk about happy, 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 happy dead is because... Let's just relax into that a little bit and wish them all to be dead. No. The reason that we talk about that in that way is because so many people are tensed against the idea of reemerging into non-physical. So a lot of people feel this discord just because of the subject, just because of the subject and the subject, only the subject. The subject itself is a reason for great discord. And so just now when you said, we always say happy, healthy, happy, healthy, happy, healthy, dead. When you are putting the dead part on it, then there is always that little bit of pushing against. When really, if you're realizing that in every moment that you are focused, it's now, it's now, it's now, it's now. So why do you have to anticipate the next unless it is something that you're really looking forward to? There's a lot to look forward to there. In other words, reemerging into non-physical, leaving behind all doubt and fury and worry about anything, and stepping fully into the vortex that you've created, and all things that you want, all things that you've wanted to understand, you now know. Every question that you've ever asked, you've put there, and the answers are already gathered. But in your physical form, you can't quite hear the answers because what's going on in your belief system right now doesn't quite mesh with all of those answers. We've been talking recently about a way to understand the vibrational you and to understand your point of attraction. We haven't used that phrase much yet today. Your point of attraction is everything, because the law of attraction is responding to you, a vibrational being, so you have an absolute point of attraction. And what you're thinking about is the reason that your point of attraction is what it is. And so as you stand in your now and you're looking forward to this or that, or even, we're not saying don't notice what's happening, and we're not even saying don't remember what has happened, but we are suggesting that you be a selective sifter so that whatever you're focused upon causes your bag of marbles to match the bag of marbles that your inner being holds. The bag of marbles is a fairly new analogy, and what it's about is that every thought that you've ever thought, you still have access to. Your body has the potential of every disease that anybody has ever had too. Anything that's out there in the atmosphere, you have the potential of focusing upon it enough that you become a vibrational match to it. You get what you think about, whether you want it or not. And so every subject is two subjects. It's the end of the stick of wanted, and then the other end is the absence of what's wanted. And so as you're thinking in terms of the choices or the directions that you might think, the subject of death is a subject that is uncomfortable to most people. They are delighted to give you the death penalty if they really don't like you. If they knew what death was, they wouldn't give it to those. It wouldn't give them that relief into pure positive energy. But it's a big subject. It's a subject that a lot of humans still have trouble with. And that's the bigger subject that we want to talk about, if you don't mind. We want to talk about how it is that you come to your point of attraction. How did you get to your point of attraction? How did you come to think a thought and then to practice that thought so much that the law of attraction brings that thought and thoughts like it to you? This is a bigger question. How did you come to think thoughts that are really contrary to what your inner being knows about all that is, about non-physical, even about you? How did you come to be so solid in beliefs that are so far apart from what your inner being knows as absolute truth. How did that happen? Well, you just practiced yourself there. Somebody that you knew up close thought it, talked about it a lot. You contemplated it, you thought about it. When you thought about it, you offered a vibration about it. The law of attraction, let's just call it the extremely accommodating law of attraction, matched whatever that thought was. And so then, just like we're asking you all to think deliberately and connect the dots, because words don't teach. Words didn't teach you a lot of the beliefs that you hold. Someone offered the thought to you. You didn't have any reason to object to it because you were new in the world and you didn't really know about your guidance system. And even though we're going to say it once, twice, 3 times, and we're going to say it strong, stronger, stronger. Even though you were new in the world, and those thoughts of your wrongness or your badness or your vulnerabilities or your imperfections felt terrible from the first time you thought them until you sort of got comfortable with the idea of them because they were so normal, your inner being never joined you in any of those thoughts. So you always had a guidance system within you that was always giving you really good feedback. What we're saying to you is, you could, if you were, as our last friend was asking, if you could get tapped into your inner being and evaluate how the thoughts you're thinking feel, and then deliberately calibrate that thought to a thought that feels better, you could teach yourself what your inner being knows about everything. In the same way that you tune a guitar, you could tune yourself to the love frequency of your source energy. So we're back to our questions. Why do humans tune themselves to the hate perspective, to the fear perspective? Why does that happen? It only can be because you don't understand what your guidance system is. You don't understand that if it feels bad, your inner being isn't focused there. But when you begin to show yourself what thoughts that you think that your inner being also thinks, when you begin to calibrate your bag of marbles to the bag of marbles that your inner being has, rather than to some other human who's trying to control your behavior in some way. So now we're going to step back into a bigger. You've got so much that is coming from you, so it feels like we're changing subjects, but we're not. When you step back into this bigger picture of who you are, of why you came and what you're all about, you didn't come to fix a broken world. You didn't see the world as broken. You came to find your place in it and define your preferences and to focus upon those preferences in order to turn those thoughts to the things that you wanted to live. So when you witness something that is not pleasing to you and you feel the discord of that, as a human, it's like right here in this room, if Esther could have it just the way she wants it, that would not be happening. We've been saying to all of you, so you create this sign, it's a big sign, put your picture on it, it helps, and carry it around with you everywhere you go, and say to anyone who passes you, this is me and these are the things I need from you in order for me to be happy. In order for me to be happy, this is what I need. And what we want you to understand, and what you understood when you made the decision to come, and what your inner being knows and is always offering to you, is that you don't need a perfect world in order to be happy. You just want to be happy in whatever world you're in. And then you come into alignment and it feels really good. But that's a hard thing to hear because you are accustomed to carving out your spaces just the way you want them to be. And that's why people fear death. Because you sort of got used to, you understand this to some degree. You're not really understanding it much, but you understand it. You understand this. And so it's the fear of the unknown that makes people push a bit against death. Once you accept that you are a vibrational being, and once you accept that a part of you came and the larger part of you is non-physically focused, And once you understand the nature of your emotions, what they mean, once you decide that you're going to calibrate to that non-physical energy that is you, once you show yourself that you can do it anytime, anywhere, once you stop not requiring physical adjustments in order to feel better, then you've got it. It might be in the same way that our friend earlier was talking about how he thought he wanted that job. And we said, well, maybe wanting that just prepared you for what you really want. It might be that Esther just thinks she wants a quiet room next door. It might be that the best thing that could happen for a conversation like this is that maybe the world isn't quite the way we would all individually draw it out to be, but maybe it's possible to feel good anyway. And if that's the case, then maybe it's possible to have different intentions than neighbors and everybody still be happy. Maybe it's possible to discover that it is the pushing against anything that causes the discord, because your inner being doesn't push against anything. Your inner being just advocates for, you see. And so we're not hurrying you off to the non-physical. We're just saying that it can be as delicious for you here as it will one day be for you there once you understand all of this. You can stop right now pushing against anything, and then you'll be right there in that vibrational frequency. Then people are thinking, well, I don't really want to prepare myself that much for death, Abraham. I don't want to really be a vibrational match to death. And we say, that's not what we're talking about here. We're asking you to be a vibrational match to life. To life. When you have negative emotion, that's you pinching you off from life. And that is the closest thing to what you think death is that any of you will ever be. Negative emotion, that's it. So when you feel awful and you say, I'm dying here, you're telling the truth. When you're mad at somebody and you say, you're killing me, well, they're not killing you, but you're killing you. We're trying to add a little levity to the subject.